Fish is a game that people are hooked on. It seems that everyone is playing it nowadays and spending hours and hours on it. I'm pretty sure you must have that one person on your friends list that's been playing Fish all day long. The real question is, how'd they make it so addictive? After all, it's just a fishing game. You throw a rod into the sea and see if anything comes back. But in reality, there's more to that. In this video, I'm going to be explaining how Fish became so successful and what it does to hook players. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing about Fish is you can't control what type of fish you catch. It's just out of luck. This is known to be called a variable reward system, which means it's unpredictable. The sense of anticipation and unpredictability releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. These are the three chemicals that everyone craves. Every choice a person makes in their life is to release oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. These are the chemicals of satisfaction and happiness. People crave this chemical and search for anything that releases it. Another thing is intensity. Fish makes the game challenging by making it intense. You have to catch the fish in time, otherwise you might lose it. Well, of course, this makes them feel tense. They don't want to lose something rare or one of a kind, so they work harder and pay more attention in the game. Intensity can also fuel something called loss aversion. Basically, what this means is, even if you lose the fish, it can actually motivate the player into playing the game even more. It can fuel them with urgency and motivation. Mainly, players would say, I'll get this next time, or I won't leave until I get the fish I want. This is extremely good for your game's retention and boosts the chances of you going to the front page. Now, something extremely important is progression. This is basically finding new land, upgrades, level ups, getting boats, and more. This can also release oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. Mainly, everyone's life is boring. We play video games to make it a bit more exciting or to distract yourself from your real-world troubles. Giving them a sense of progression, making them have upgrades, and so on, gives them a sense of accomplishment. Most of our real-life goals are quite far to reach and take a lot of time. So, games with easy achievements are really good at hooking the player. This can also be done with instant feedback loops. Instant feedback gives the player accomplishment or makes the game a bit fast-paced. Of course, things can get boring when they're slow. This can also be done with sound effects and visual effects. Like an example, you're about to catch a fish and you see the rope moving around and disturbances in the water. This can help the game feel more fast-paced and interesting. This also gives something called instant gratification. What is instant gratification? Well, it's a process where the player's brain is frequently getting boosts of serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine. Like I said, people love these three chemicals and will do anything to get them. If the game is not giving enough oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, players will leave and hate the game. And in today's world, it's extremely important to implement this part. Since people are scrolling through Reels, Shorts, and TikTok, their attention span decreases, which means you have to make the game more fast-paced to hook the player. Now, let's move on to something called the endowment effect. This basically means I caught it means I own it. This gives the player a sense of ownership. This makes the player feel special and also makes them show off, like sharing screenshots of rare things they caught. Creating a sense of ownership between a certain item in your game and the player is a great way to make them emotionally involved in your game. This is exactly what Fish does with its fishing rods and effects. Now let's move on to the last two parts. And this point is social proof and status. This can be done by giving the player special rods and so on. This gives envy and admiration. A human's lizard brain is wired to compare. Everyone seeks validation. They want to prove and show others that they're better. They want to belong and everyone wants to fit in. Giving special rods or effects do just that. It makes the player feel superior. It makes them say, I am better than you. And to another player, it might push them to work harder in the game and spend more time on it, or to become greater or just as great as the other person. And the last part is to know that humans are social creatures. Having people around enhances the enjoyment. I'm pretty sure you've even caught yourself looking at the Roblox chat and being entertained for hours. By giving them a sense of community, they added islands to explore with different types of people, and they added trading. This is how FISCH hacks the player's mind and makes them engage. Now, this is the end of the video. See you guys in the next one.